Hola, estudiantes. It's Mrs. Santiago here, and today we're going to take the notes on stem changing verbs. I am in your OneNote, Chapter 7, page 15, Review Stem Changing Verbs and Health. I'm going to eliminate the table of contents, and I'm going to make the page large. Stem changing verbs. So most of the information was in the lesson through Schoology. You could see that there were videos and information that explained there are three basic verb stem changes. The first one is O to UE. The second pattern that we see is E to I. The third pattern that we're going to talk about is E to IE. Now there is a fourth pattern, but the fourth pattern is just one verb, jugar. And jugar right here goes from U to UE. Sometimes you see people put it up here in with O to UE because it takes the same pattern in the stem change, but it starts with a U. So let's get right to it. Let's review the three verbs that we're going to talk about for O to UE. So we have dormir to sleep, acostar to lay down, and encontrar to find. So dormir, we can remember that one because we sleep in a dorm room or dormitorio. Acostar, we've learned it doesn't cost anything to lay down, and I don't have a tricky way to learn encontrar. So let's go ahead and do dormir. So when we do dormir, right, it's a stem changes are always a 3-step process. So I like to think of it step 1, right? We always know that we're going to chop off our endings. Step 2, we're going to change the stem. And step 3, we're going to add it back in. Now that's going to be the same for all 3 of these sections today. 3 steps, chop, change, add. So let's chop off the IR and we're left with the stem DORM. The stem change is going to happen right here. So it's going to become DUERM. So I'm going to write that in first, the stem change verb. Dwerm. Now I'm going to go back to the original pink because this is where we go back to the original, dorm. Okay, now I'm going to add in my endings, and for that, I'm going to go ahead and just use black, and I'll try to make it bigger. It might be too big, but we'll see. Okay, so yo always ends in O, so duermo. This is an IR verb, so duermes. Any one person, right? Usted, any one person, one vowel, duerme. Now I'm going to go over here and do the 2 or more people. That doesn't include me. That's duermen. And nosotros has been kicked out. That's dormimos. Notice it's an IR verb. This goes to IMOS. So the first thing you need to do after you do this is draw in your boot. So draw in your boot. We're going to draw it with the highlighter. Everything inside the boot, and you could get fancy if you want to, and draw the laces and make the shoe come up so you know I'm talking about a shoe. So vosotros and nosotros are kicked out of the boot. They're not in the club of stem changing. Now, the best way to remember how to do this is to practice. So there's 3 practices below each chart. Let's see if you can do, I'll do one with you and then you can do the next ones. So dormir, this is ODUE. So is acostar and encontrar. But we're going to work with acostarse first. So you can see this is the vowel that's going to change. So I have to deal with the say first and bring it over. Yo may, that's the correct pronoun. So that's gone. Now I can do the 1, 2, 3 of the stem changing verbs. Step 1 is chop off the AR. There it is, chopping off the AR. Now I'm left with a stem and I'm going to stem change it. So it becomes a quest. And now what's the right ending to match yo? Acuesto. So it becomes yo acuesto. Yo me acuesto a las 10 de la noche. Number 2, it's asking us to use the verb dormir, which is the verb that we actually put on the chart. So it becomes mis amigos. We're going to do the 3-step process: chop, change, add. So duerm. What's the right ending? If you look, it's duermen because it is an IR verb. Duermen. I want you to try number 3 on your own. It's an O to UE. Right here is the O that's going to change. Okay, let's look at the next set. The next set is E to I. Again, it's going to be a chop, change, add. Let's look at the 3 verbs that we have here. Vestirse. I get dressed in my vest. Vestirse. Decir, see how it's in a talking bubble? It means to say. That one I'm going to write down because it's not one that we've used, but it's one that we really should get used to using. To say, not to talk, to say. Sonreír, to smile. Now, this one is difficult not in the sense that the E is right next to the stem change, which sometimes throws people off. But let's go crazy and let's go ahead and put sonreír on the chart. So sonreír, to smile. So chop, change, add. I'm going to chop off the IR and I'm going to put in the changed stem. So it's sonri, 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 sonri. Now I'm going back to the original, which would be son re. Okay. Now let's add back in our endings. Yo sonrío. This is an IR verb. Tú sonríes. Él, ella, usted. Any one person. Okay. Sonríe. And ellos, ellas, ustedes. Okay. 2 or more people that doesn't include you. Sonríen. Now here, I'm going to go back to my original stem and my original ending. This is an IR verb, so it would be sonreímos. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw my boot. So as I put in my boot, I'm going to keep everybody inside the boot drawing. Okay, everybody inside the boot gets the stem change. Dos nosotros and vosotros are kicked out. Okay, I hope that makes sense. It's a chop, change, add, stem changing verb. E to I, stem changer. In vestirse, it's the first E that's going to change. In decir, but please note, decir is a yo-go verb. So in the yo form, you're going to do that stem change, but you're also going to get the go in there. Okay, let's go ahead and practice these. So let's get down to yo blank blank para salir con mis amigos vestir. So I'm getting dressed to go out with my friends. Okay, so I'm going to deal with the say first because it's a stem changer. And yo, that's going to match may. Now I'm going to do the normal chop, change, add. So I'm going to chop off the IR ending and I'm left with vest, but it's going to change to an I. So I write vist. Okay. Now I have to add back in visto. Yo me visto para salir con mis amigos. 3-step process, chop, change, add. Okay, let's do número 2. La doctora blank que yo debo mantenerme en forma. Okay, what's the doctor say? Giving healthy advice there. Okay, so chop, change, add. So I am chopping off the IR and I'm left with DEC, but it's an E to I. So I'm going to do that stem change, DIC. Now it's an IR verb. I know I covered it up a little with my chop. It's an IR verb, so it's going to take one vowel, which is an E. La doctora dice, so the doctor says that I should maintain myself in shape. Okay. Last one. Mi amiga siempre blank. Ella piensa positiva. Okay, so now I want you to do number 3. The stem change is happening right there, and we charted this one, so it should be pretty easy. One friend. And our last stem change that we're going to talk about is the E to IE. Think about tener and querer. E to IE stem changer. Again, 3-step process. Chop, change, add. So the 3 verbs that we've got here, we've got despertar, and you can see that's the E that's going to go from E to IE. I'm desperate to wake up. Okay. The second one is mantenerse en forma. Okay. Think of this as like maintain. So you maintain in shape, maintain yourself in shape. And this one should be easy because if you really look at it, this is the verb tener in the middle of it, and that's actually what we're going to be conjugating. We just have a prefix man in front of it. Okay, so to stay in shape. Note again, just like decir, this is a yogo verb. Remember tengo, tener. And the last one is sentirse. This is to feel. This is all about our feelings. We're going to be using this one in our therapy, emotional therapy in class as we do some Spanish speaking. So this is a E to IE stem changer, and you're going to see the E that changes is right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and chart these. These are all reflexive verbs. So maybe we'll do this one since we're going to be using it in class, sentirse. So I'm going to deal with the say first, right? And we know the pronouns. If I were to chart them all, it would be like this, right? Me, te, say, nos, say. So now I don't have to worry about the pronouns anymore. Now I'm going to do the simple chop, change, add. Okay, again, I happen to be hitting the IR verbs, but if I chop, I'm left with sent, and I'm going to chop that off. Now I'm going to do the change. I'm going to change that to sient. 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 Okay, now when I get to nosotros, I'm going to go back to the original form, which is sent. Okay, now I can add the endings back in. Yo ends in O, yo me siento, I feel. Tu te sientes, it's an ES because it's an IR verb. Tu te sientes. Él, ella, usted, any one person, se siente. 2 or more people, okay? Sienten, EN. And then nosotros, back to the original, is going to be nos sentimos. Okay. I feel, you feel, she or he feels, we all feel, they feel. Okay, so we're going to put in our boot, draw in our boot. Everything inside takes the ending. I do want to take just a moment and point out, and I really am going to use a different color highlighter just so you see it. I want to remind you that the verb endings, like this is an AR, this is an ER, this is an IR. Okay, let's scroll back up and see what we got up here. This is the IR, IR, IR. And up here we've got an AR, AR, IR, and then another AR. So just be careful of your stem changes. Make sure you watch the endings while you're putting your endings on. Chop, change, add. When you're adding, you need to know what type of verb it is. Okay, now let's practice this section here. Yo blank blank en forma voy al gimnasio. So these are stem changers. So I'm going to deal with the say. And yo, I know it becomes may. Now, what's the yo form of this? Tricky because it's a yo go. So I want to put in the man first. Man. And then it's a yo go. Mantengo. Yo me mantengo en forma. So tener doesn't take an I to E to IE stem changer in the yo go section. So yo me mantengo en forma, yo voy al gimnasio. I stay in shape, I go to the gym. Número 2. Mis amigos no blank blank bien están enfermos. Okay, this is a reflexive verb. So I'm talking about mis amigos, more than one. So I'm not included, so it's going to be a say for the reflexive pronoun. Now let's do sentir. I'm talking about more than one friend. It takes the stem change, so I'm going to be S-I-E-N-T, and this one happens to be on the chart, E-N. Mis amigos no se sienten bien, están enfermos. My friends don't feel well, they are sick. Number 3, I'm going to leave for you to do on your own. Two-step process. Please don't forget to deal with the say, then conjugate in your uno, dos, tres, chop, change, add. Okay. I feel like we're good with those. Now, this is just a little extra piece of notes. This is really going to be talking about emotions. So this week is about emotional therapy. We'll be doing the emotions tomorrow. So let's take a look at this section. When talking about your emotions, there are different verbs you can use. First, let's talk about ser versus estar. So when you talk about ser versus estar, ser is used to tell what things are normally like. Okay. Estar is used with adjectives to describe a temporary condition or, I don't know, maybe an emotional state or maybe a changing state. Okay. So you could use estar to talk about your emotions. So there's our first one, estar, number 1. Sentirse is like estar. Sentirse is used with feelings or emotions to describe someone's mental or physical state. So it's second way, sentirse. The third way is tener expressions. They can be used to describe a mental or physical state. And let's conjugate these out just to practice, one for each way. So, number 1, ella no, what's the right form of estar to match one person? Ella no está bien. Don't forget the accent. Ella no está bien. Tiene un dolor de garganta. Let's think about what that means. She doesn't, right? We're negating it. She doesn't feel well or she isn't well. She has we've been practicing this, dolor de garganta. She has an ache or pain in her throat. Okay, muy bien. Número 2. Yo blank blank mal. Yo voy a vomitar. Eek. Okay. Sentirse. Sentirse. Okay, so let's deal with the say. Say going to become may. And now let's conjugate that verb. It is an E to IE stem changer. So it's yo me siento, ends with an O. Yo me siento mal. Yo voy a vomitar. I feel bad. I'm going to vomit. Muy bien. And tener phrases, which we will be reviewing tomorrow. So tener phrases. When we talk about tener phrases, Senora Laraba, she's one person. E to IE stem change. You should know this from last year. School supplies. Senora Laraba tiene calor. Ella tiene, still one person, un fiebre. Okay, Mrs. Laraba is hot. It's her temporary condition. Like hot, like roasting, sweating. Why? Ella tiene un fiebre. She has a fever. Okay. So emotions, we'll be reviewing this tomorrow. Actually, this is what we're going to spend all of Wednesday on. So reviewing tener phrases. Okay, guys, you did a great job. I know it was long. This is actually more of a teaching video than just taking notes. If you have questions, please go back and review the videos that are in Schoology for your lesson. Gracias.